This is Picking Up the Pixels, episode 78, RPG Love for January 2018. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels. I'm your host, Boston. Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Musum.
Hello.
And Mina's taking the month off. She had some family obligations to tend to, but she will be back next month. Let's just dive right into it. Musum, what have you been playing this past month?
A whole bunch of stuff.
All right.
But I'll start out with the newest one, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Picked that up when it came out for Switch. Like at the beginning of December, I played like the first hour of it. Kind of hated it, and then shelved it until a couple days ago. And I'm like, okay, I can't just go on and say I played 30 minutes to an hour of the game. And the problem is when you start the game, you're this. I don't remember the main character. Rex, that's the main character's name, and he is dressed somewhat like Vaughn from Final Fantasy XII.
Oh no.
And his voice actor just keeps making me think of Wacko from Animaniacs.
Oh, man.
So, like...
He's got a lot going against him.
Yeah. Like, he's not a... And, like, his function in the world is he is a scavenger? Not scavenger. Basically, he... I can't remember the word, the real-world word for it, but he basically just, deep dives to... scavenge stuff from broken ships and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they have a stupid minigame for it where you kind of walk up to a dock, you use an item, and then he starts running for the dock, and then it like shows a button prompt on screen that you have to press within a certain time limit, and then he dives and gives you stuff. So that's not like... That was one of the first mechanics the game gave me, and I'm like, I already hate this. If this is what this game's going to be about... And then you're put into your initial city, which is this trading center, and there's like a dozen shops in it, and they give you like 2 or 3 like quests right off the get-go that you can do, and like almost everyone there is the weird little cutesy creatures. I wrote it down. Nopon, it's basically Choo Choo from Xenogears. Monolith just won't let Choo Choo die.
And I think they were in the first one, right?
I think they're in all of them.
Okay.
They were definitely in the first one.
Yeah.
I can't remember X enough to remember if they were in X. But that's another game I'd like to go back to, too. But now I'm just going to wait for them to inevitably release it on Switch.
Yeah. Release the trilogy.
Yeah. Anyway, so, that was a huge, just going in, just hating everything, and then, you run into, the first named characters, and they're all, I love anime, but these guys are all, hyper anime stereotypes, staring you in the face, and they're oh, this punk kid doesn't look tough, and this other guy's like, oh, I'll prove it, and then starts attacking you, and then you dodge, and it's all an animation, and so that was my early December experience with the game, and going into this cast, I knew I had to put more effort into it than that. And I'm glad I did, honestly, because the story and the characters didn't get better, the rest of it did. Immediately, where I left off, I kind of just went in, did the last quest, and then went into the next story mission, which actually let me do some combat and have some people in my party, and it's the same combat system from the other games, but now they've added on this what they call a class called drivers, and I'm pretty sure whoever did the translation for it just decided they were gonna they write it so that you're not sure if they know, but they have to know that they are just making all these driver's license puns constantly with it, I was in this, like in the last city I was in, like this guard stops us because one of our characters looked like someone they were hunting for, and then he realizes you're a driver, and he's like, you need a qualification to be a driver. You have to be registered. And like,
and you're just like, they had to know, right?
Yeah. Just like constant crap like that. It's real funny to me. But anyway, so they have the driver blade system, where basically you have a blade equipped that is both an actual weapon and also a person or creature standing near you in combat.
Oh, right. I've seen some of that because people have been posting, like, the rare blades they've gotten in. Like, there's one that's Cosmos from Xenoblade, the Xeno Saga series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know if that was, like, a pre-order or if it's super rare or what, but I've seen that one.
I pre-ordered this. I need to check and make sure it wasn't something I forgot. I'd love to have Cosmos. Not that she was that wonderful of character from what I remember, but whatever. Yeah. I never got past the first one of those games, and I know the second and third are where they were supposed to have taken off. So.
Yeah, I played a bunch of the second, but it was so... The battle system was so drastically and negatively different than the first one. I never made it to the third one, which is supposed to be, like, the top of the pops.
Gotcha. Well... Anyway, so the driver blade system, like it's a loot box type thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not a loot box in that I don't think there's an online store I can give them money to, but you basically get an item that lets you bond with a blade, and then it gives you a random blade. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something like 40 some odd unique and rare blades, but you have to find the rare and the legendary and rare like class cores to draw them, or at least to have a higher chance of drawing them. But it's not like a guarantee, so it's a little annoying there. But
yeah,
I'm not far enough into the game to actually know how annoying it is, because they kind of just gave me like the item you use is called a core, right? And they gave me like 4 or 5 cores, like almost from the get-go. Like I got one or two from the story, and then went and talked to a guy down the street after I got them, and he gave me 3 more. So it was, I don't know how rare these things are actually going to be or not, but the actual combat, I know I'm still going to have to learn how to do this combat right, because that's something I never did in the previous games, because there's, they want you to, they have different moves that break certain defenses where you can, and they get bonus damage by using other moves, and it's
a lot.
Yeah. And I just haven't learned it yet. I have a friend who's really into it, so I'm hoping to go have breakfast with him sometime, and he can just freaking...
I brought my Switch. Show me how to do this.
What am I doing wrong?
Right.
Let's see. What else did I write down here? They something really cool they added to the game that I think I'm going to like is every city you encounter has a development level. And the more quests you do in the city, the more the city gets developed, and the more item shops will have.
My weakness.
And yeah. Stuff like that. And evidently, like, on all the shops, like, this is even worse in that some of the shops will not sell you all their items until you've bought one of each item in the shop.
Oh.
Like, they have a lot of cool things like that in it. I haven't really been set loose on the open world. I got, like, one big patch of land I can run around. The big difference right now I'm noticing between the open world and this and the open world and the first one is the first one you were running around on 2 dead gods, right?
Right.
In this one, all the Titans appear to still be alive. So, like, the current Titan I'm on, I don't remember the name, but they basically just said, hey, you see that fog, like, water level down there? That's going to change as this Titan walks around the Earth. Or whatever planet it is, so you'll actually have access to new areas.
Wow. Okay.
Which it sounds real cool. I haven't experienced it, so but hopefully it's as cool as it sounds. But right now, half the things in the world still kick my butt. And they keep taking away my party members, which is really annoying. So I'm hoping it'll level out and I can just experience the open world part, because that's the part I am enjoying the most, is doing the side quests and running around getting things and developing like the cities and such. So, and I don't think I can talk about this game on here without bringing up the female character's dress or lack thereof. It's like reading the reviews and hearing I think it was Jeremy Parrish who described them as being dressed in lingerie. I was like, these people are just being hyperbolic. Like, this is probably just, they have like slightly sexy outfits. It's not a big deal. And no, the first, she's not the first woman in your party. The first woman in your party is actually like a teenage girl that is entirely clothed, actually. Despite this conversation. But the second one, you get Pyra, who actually is your blade, by the way. So she's kind of an object in the game.
She's like she has like that red pink hair and like that pink outfit, right? Yeah.
And you could argue that she is fully clothed from the front, even though it, like...
Mostly.
Those clothes are painted on from the front, but like the back, she may as well just be nude. Like, it's so weird, because like the story for the game, I feel like they made it for kids, like a late elementary school, like early teen kid.
Right.
Because it's real basic. It's like in the combat, like the main character even says, "I'll beat you with the power of friendship," or something like he literally says the phrase "power of friendship."
Right.
It's pretty corny, but like, and then you have these very like I don't know. It's I feel like it's a conflict in tone to a degree, but it's, I don't know. It's something, and like the other thing that doesn't help it is all the cinematic camera work in the game focuses on their female bits.
Right.
I mean,
it's almost fan servicey.
There's no almost about it. Like your first image of Pyra is like her chest.
And I feel like the natural defense against that would be, well, you guys are just being prudes, but we have so many RPGs that have graduated from that in like the last decade that it's sort of a bummer to see a game, especially one that has been so promoted, go back to that.
Well, and I don't mind a sexy lady in my game.
Yeah.
But it's very tonally like it doesn't, like, as I said, like the game is kind of feels like a kid's game to a large extent, like with the main character and the way the conversations are portrayed and things like that. And like if it had been like adults in it and it was somewhat dark or had, like deeper overtones, I think having sexually dressed ladies would feel less out of place to me. And that,
right.
And honestly, that may just be my own issue too, in that I'm expecting nudity in an adult flick or something. But I don't know. The other thing to it too is if you took Pyra's outfit and made that outfit in real life for an adult female, which I think would be possible, it would immediately look less pervy than it does in the game.
Oh, okay. So hopefully the cosplay of this character is going to be a little bit more tasteful.
I'm pretty sure the cosplayers are just going to paint on the costume. I don't think there's going to be... I don't think... Like, if they use fabric for the costume, it will be more tasteful. If they do not use fabric, it absolutely will not be. If they want a game-accurate thing, it'll be pretty pervy, but... Yeah. It's not, I don't know. I like listening to Abby at Giant Bomb talk about Nier and that protagonist and something that really hadn't occurred to me. I have to imagine that the female characters in this would have that that same issue with female players who are not wanting to see a half nude chick a large part of the time.
Right.
But for the most part, like, it's not like you can select her in battle. She's standing behind you. You mainly just have to deal with it in cutscenes, which are fairly chess-centric in terms of their angles they pull with her. But
that's where the problem lies.
Yeah. But overall, I think the game is fun to play. I love that the Titans are alive. Like, you actually start the game on a Titan, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
In the city development, and I'm actually really enjoying my time with it. I just, again, wish it would let me loose.
Yeah.
I don't think the story is going to be anything interesting. Like,
I bet the bad guy gets killed by friendship.
yeah, and, you know, I'm not saying yes or no, but, you know, within the first couple hours of game, the main character may or may not be stabbed with the sword that he's going to use.
Yeah. The bad guy you've already met is, like, Maximus von Dark Doom. Like,
he may as well. Like, he's silver-haired guy, like, mask over his eyes.
It's just Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon.
That'd be great.
Who could he be?
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the other weird thing about this is, like, last night I was playing it on undocked on my Switch, right? Mm-hmm. Using it as a handheld, because I did that a lot so I could watch stuff. And when I docked it and played it on my TV for possibly the first time today, like, it displays a lot of the menu screens and items completely differently.
Oh,
Like, it actually gives me more information on the TV than it did undocked, which is
interesting.
Kind of upsetting.
Yeah, that's weird.
And the last thing I'll mention is I wish I know Nintendo defined where the B and A and X and Y buttons should go initially.
Yes.
But good God, relearning where they are now for all these button prompts is a nightmare.
Yep.
I can't play this game in the dark because of it, like, because I can't see what the...
Yeah, they're like, oh, just hit A, and I'm like mashing B. It's like, wait, what? Oh, Nintendo.
Like, XR on the Switch is like the top shoulder button. It's, you know, the R1 equivalent for the PlayStation and the... Yeah. I forget what Xbox calls it. And, like, R is the second button. It feels very counterintuitive, like their naming scheme.
The fact that a button is named XR is still crazy.
Yeah. Or maybe it's ZR. I can't remember. It's
That's
something
one of the
like
two,
that.
yeah.
I bet it's ZR.
It's still crazy. It's not just like R1 and R2.
Yeah.
Although Sony might have that trademarked. You know how crazy that stuff gets.
I'm sure all three of them do. And
yeah.
I'm sure all of them consider something iconic about the ones they set up. And I wish they would just all have like a freaking treaty between the three of them to make all the buttons the same. But
the console accords.
Yeah. Anywho, so I also, with a gift card, picked up Skyrim for Switch. This is, it's kind of a new Skyrim experience for me, because I'm having to play it fair without mods.
Right.
Which is, I was thinking back on it, and, like, I'm not sure if I ever did that. Like, I'm pretty sure my first time, because the console commands on PC have stayed the same through all the Elder Scrolls games.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, when Skyrim came out, I'm pretty sure when I went into a dungeon and killed everything and then ran out of carrying capacity, I just pumped in the code to make that go away and grab everything, go back to town, turn it off, and then sell it all off. So here it's really weird clearing out a dungeon and then having to make multiple trips back to the dungeon to get the rest of the stuff to sell it, because my first priority in Skyrim and any Elder Scrolls game is to buy property.
Right.
So going into this game, like, it went through the little intro up to making your guy, you know, before they want to behead him, and, like, the story came crashing back to me, and I'm like, this is... I'll I'll try to save everyone, like, the headache, because I know we're the break from politics, but good God, if I didn't just hear, like, oh, the Nords want their own ethno-state.
Right, and you're just like, oh.
So I rolled up an Argonian and named him Jormungandr. For those that don't know, the world serpent that aids in Ragnarok.
Right.
Which I felt was appropriate, but... the other thing I'm doing differently this time in the playthrough is I'm starting out just going straight for alchemy, enchanting, and smithing. And just trying to create income and things like that and get better equipment. Which is, I think, going well, but I'm still real worried because everything levels up with you in Skyrim, and I'm worried I'm just not going to be effective enough with magic and weapons, even though I'm increasing these other things.
You're going to hit like that one dungeon where you're like, okay, I am suddenly outpaced. I have made a mistake.
I've gotten pretty close to it so far. I've used more potions this time around than I'm used to using. But it's that game's still real good, and it's still really like having it on the go. Like I really like if I'm jobless in a month, you know why.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. God, we were at work the other day, and our server went down, so we were just kind of sitting around doing nothing. And I bring my Switch up there for lunch, and just staring at that thing, going, I wonder how judged I would be if I just started playing the last 2 hours. But yeah, no, that game's great. It seems like, I know they said it's a port, but there are some things in that game that feel a little bit different to me. In that, one, like a lot of the opening enemies I thought were way easier than they should have been. I should have written this stuff down. There were just a couple things that happened that made me think that they tweaked some of the difficulty settings and some of the level up settings and things like that.
I think they did, if I remember correctly. I think they did that for the remaster when they came out with it on like PS4 and Xbox One. I think they tweaked a bunch of that stuff, and I think the Switch version is a port of that stuff. So it's not even the original Skyrim. It's like this slightly tweaked version, which is probably for the better.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that game's 6 years old at this point.
Yeah. Needs a little TLC.
Yeah. Let's see. Played a little bit of Warframe. They did another patch now that they got their big Plains of the Eidolon out, like, because they were kind of content light for most of 2016. Or 2017, whatever last year was. And that was because Plains of Eidolon just wound up being like way more of a task than they initially thought. And now that that's done, they're doing all the stuff they promised to do in previous years, which is they added another room on the ships where you can display like collectibles and things like that. And
nice.
They have a cool little Warfield diorama type thing that you can put figures on, and I bought a bed for my pet to lay on, which is freaking awesome.
I actually played a little bit of Warframe on PC myself.
What?
So I built a new machine, and because I had such a crappy old machine, I don't really have anything to push my new machine, and I thought I should fire up Warframe. It's free, which is the right price for me right now, and it could probably push my video card pretty nicely. And I got through the tutorial mission, which was interesting. The bad guy they have in the tutorial is one of the goofiest looking guys I've seen in a really long time. Everything else looked really good. But I need to bring up my Xbox One controller and hook it up to my PC because while I was playing the tutorial mission, I could not find a way to stop the mouse from being so sensitive, and it is blisteringly sensitive on its default settings. But yeah, I got through the tutorial, I got to my ship, and man, that is still a good-looking game. Like, and I thought, well, I'm really unhappy with Destiny 2, so why not spend time with a better game?
I realize the parallels exist for comparing those two. I feel bad every time someone does, though.
Yeah.
But just because they play so, like, they have so many similarities, and that they're kind of going for the same thing in a lot of areas, but the gameplay is so vastly different between the two.
And that's between the gameplay being different and a company running Warframe that actually cares, I think those are the things that are pretty appealing to me as a Destiny 2 burnout.
Well, that initial bad guy, Vor, like, you'll fight him several more times.
Okay.
And he will always be that goofy looking. Most of the Grineer faction is, like, most of their heads up are, like, these weird cyborg-esque things.
Flowers, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're, the other enemy factions, I think, have a little bit better designs, but some of their... I guess they've improved over the Grineer on the ends. It's just all their leaders look goofy, because the Grineer are supposed to be this like, really stupid, like, offshoot of humans or something that are...
It's a cool game, though. I mean, I think I tried Warframe originally, maybe a couple years ago, when it didn't have this tutorial in it, and it was a really solid tutorial. I very few games that are this old have a tutorial that's that nice.
All right, well, they keep trying to make the new user experience better, because they know they have a million systems and they're never going to explain any of them enough.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not playing regularly at all at the moment. But I mean, at the same time, it's really easy for me to just, because they have a thing in like, you can reset your levels on all your equipment to add another symbol to basically be able to equip more stuff to that equipment. So
you sort of prestige that equipment.
Yeah, and you can do it repeatedly.
Nice.
But point is if you get into Warframe, I would easily just reset a bunch of my equipment and go do some runs with you if you're interested. But
yeah, I sort of wish I had more time, because I feel like I would be pretty quickly sucked into Warframe, especially now that it's been out a couple of years, and it has, now the planes are out and has such an incredible amount of content. But also the incredible amount of content is a little bit intimidating when I have 2 hours a day to play stuff.
Yeah. There is a lot there.
Yeah.
But what frame did you choose?
Oh boy. They give you 3 options. There's one that's like melee. There's one that's like a sniper, and then there's one that says, hey, if you're just starting out, pick this one. Like, it very clearly says, if you are new to Warframe, pick this frame. And I said, okay, I will pick that frame.
Is probably Excalibur.
That sounds right. The other two were like, if you've played Warframe a bunch, pick this one. If you're an expert, pick this one.
Gotcha.
Which was kind of, I really like that they made it very clear, where it's like, this is your start, this is your Ryu Warframe. Just pick this one, start there.
Yeah, and if it is Excalibur, that one's really good. It lasts till late game. You know, like, they reworked it a year or two ago, and it originally was nowhere near as good as it is now.
Yeah.
And I know one of them, I'm pretty sure, is Loki, which I don't think any beginning player should ever pick. Like, Loki's a great frame that you need a ton of mods to make great. But you aren't gonna, like, Loki's shtick is he turns invisible for a really long time, but that only lasts for a really long time if you have the mods for it, and he has almost no health and shields. So if you can't stay invisible, he's really not worth it.
Right. It's like your rogue class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who the third one is. For a while it was Mag, and Mag's not bad. I never really learned how to use her after her rework, though. And for a while it was Volt, and I don't know who it is currently.
Yeah.
Volt's not bad either, but he's a little low on health.
Yeah.
But okay, well, then keep me posted, and we'll see how much everyone hates me for getting other people to play Warframe.
Yeah, exactly.
The most popular game that everyone, I feel like, hates what I talk about.
Yeah.
But so I also played. I've been kind of casually playing it. Yakuza 0.
Yes.
I'm on, I think, Chapter 4, Majima's second chapter.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of side quests in that chapter. I
Yeah.
got real distracted by those, and I'm about at the point where I'm like, I'm just going to stop messing with this and do the main stuff. Like, did the side quests disappear later?
No, so the cool thing about Yakuza 0 is I actually fired it back up because there had been a side quest that's been haunting me, which is So, at some point during Kiryu's storyline, you start like a real estate business, and you start buying up real estate around the town, Kamurocho, Ocho, and that starts making you a bunch of money. And I always wanted to buy the bowling alley, but I couldn't because I couldn't make friends with the woman who runs it, and I couldn't do that because I wasn't able to bowl a turkey. They had this storyline where it's bowl a turkey, win a turkey, and I could never do it, and it's been haunting me. So over the break, I actually did that, and it's a really great storyline. But the great part is when you finish the game, it unlocks something called clear saves, and you can create one of those anytime, and a clear save will let you start a new game plus. But what it also lets you do is just load back into the world, and all of the side quests are open, and you can switch freely between the two characters. So like you go back to your hideout and you call on the phone, and it just switches you over to Majima, or it switches you back over to Kiryu. So what I would sort of recommend is, sample as much of that stuff as you can stomach throughout your playthrough, but what I did was, as soon as I could feel that stuff pulling me too much, I would just sort of keep going with the main storyline. Because once you load back into the world, all that stuff is open. And you can do... Majima actually gets a really cool larger side mission that he does, where he's also taking over some portion of his landmass. So there's just a ton in that game.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. The side mission that was breaking me was the little girl on the claw machines.
Oh, that game is so hard.
It's like as you go in and you're like, okay, she wants the pink, whatever that thing is. Yeah. I have no idea which one of these red things in this machine she means. Yep. And then if it's like one of those stupid birds that always roll around, like, yeah. A lot of those side quests I actually looked up online. I found a really good guide for them on... It wasn't one of the big sites, but for a lot of those side quests, there's some weird stuff you need to do, or like the better you answer questions, the better item you get at the end of them. So a lot of them, I just looked it up and said, okay, well, answer this one, answer this one, answer this one, and you get like a really cool piece of body armor. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I want that. Man, okay, I should have been doing that, because I've just been shooting from the hip on that.
Yeah, there are some that are sort of... Some of them are kind of confusing. I almost feel like they encourage you to learn from it and do it again on another playthrough, but that's not going to happen for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm really enjoying it. It hasn't made me like feel compelled to just start constantly playing it, but I'm enjoying the world and the characters, and I like that it's this arcade brawler that I can kind of enjoy.
A real beat-em-up RPG.
Yeah. It drives me crazy that I can't beat up a Mr. Shakedown yet.
I feel so good the first time you take him down.
I so want to beat the crap out of that guy. Like, I've tried like 3 or 4 times now. Like, I'll see him down the street. I'm like, oh, I gotta go spend all my money somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really liked that he was in there because I felt like it was a really good progression system because sometimes it's hard to tell when you upgrade your health how much health you get, or you're learning all these new skills in some of your battle styles, but until you can sort of finish him off, at least that first time, then you're like, okay, I actually I know how to play the game better, and I spent all my money to get my skills better. Now I sort of feel that paying off.
Yeah, so far my favorite fight style is definitely the oh crap,
the pink one,
Kiryu's beast mode.
Oh, okay. I actually went the other way. Beast mode's my least favorite. I like the rush one, the pink one, the really fast one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like that one, but I really like grabbing a scooter that's sitting nearby and beating the crap out of someone.
Just hit triangle and smashing someone with it.
Yeah. No, it's superhuman strength over there.
It's so good.
And I guess I talked about it on Twitter. Like, I did a couple of the mini games, but I think the first day I really sunk my teeth into Yakuza 0, I spent like an hour or 2 on the dance floor, which was like, I wanted to watch him dance because it's really funny seeing this big tough Yakuza guy do disco. But
same like the karaoke. I want to watch some of that animation.
Oh yeah, like the first time I did karaoke, I thought it was going to be like a dance game or rock simulator where they were just going to show you the buttons as they come. And no, they just show you them all at once. So
it's very
like, they
weird.
put that on screen. I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean it started yet. Oh no, I just missed all those notes. Crap.
Yeah, I just missed like 20 notes. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta try that again at some point. But I think I'm about to the point where I just need to start pushing through the story, because that's definitely the part I'm finding most interesting.
Yeah.
They really like putting all their twists and turns in this, which is...
Yep. Like at the end of every other chapter where it's like, here's a big reveal, switch to the other character. It's like, no!
Yeah.
Have you been to the clown that gives you DLC?
No.
I love these games. So basically in Kiryu's area, if you go to the shrine, there's 2 things there. One is the clown that lets you... All the DLC is free. You've already downloaded it if you've patched the game. He'll give you DLC. It's mostly like slot car stuff and some weapons and outfits you won't be able to use yet. But then you've been probably getting completion points, CP, so far.
Yeah.
What you can do is there's a shrine right next to him where you can actually spend those CP. And it gets you stuff like you can run for longer, or you can eat food at restaurants when you're already full, or you can drink more alcohol and stuff like that. So all that stuff is really good bonuses.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
There's
a lot in this game.
Yeah. And I've started any time that they tell me I need to get an item from a shop and they don't tell me what shop, I just Google it.
Yeah. The coolest part about that game is it's not really open world, but you get to explore this town completely. Like, it doesn't... Once the tutorial stuff is over, it doesn't really put blocks on you anywhere, but that's also bad when they're like, oh, I need to go get champagne from a drugstore. It's like, yeah, man, I'm not going to know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel like a lived-in place, too, so I'll give it that. Like, it definitely feels like a city.
And the cool part is playing Yakuza Kiwami, it's in the same town as well. So when someone's like, oh, hit the drugstore over there, it's like, yeah, I already know. I know where that is. I got it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's that'll be good for getting through that game quickly then.
Yeah, but what's kind of cool is Zero takes place in the 80s during Japan's big financial boom, but Kiwami takes place, it's like 17 years later. So it's cool to see from that first game, from Zero to the first game, how much that town changed, because it's the same town, but a lot of the stuff is pretty different.
That sounds neat to me.
Yeah.
I'm on board for the Yakuza series now.
Yeah.
Like I got 6 on pre-order. Whenever they open up pre-orders for the remake of 2, that I'm sure will inevitably come here.
Yeah. And Kiwami is only like $20.
Well, and that one I went ahead and picked up already. With
Yeah.
how quickly the special version of Zero came, like, and Kiwami only being $20 or $30 when it came out, I'm like, I can afford that.
Yeah, I already pre-ordered 6, whatever the collector's edition of that, because I think that's only $60.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I briefly considered trying to track down the special edition of Zero, but then I looked it up and I'm like, wow, this thing comes with business cards?
it's like a business card holder, which is super cool, like, based on some stuff that happens about halfway through the game, but I've seen people sell it for like $200. It's like, well,
No.
maybe not.
Nah.
I don't have that much money. I don't have any money, so...
Yeah, no, I joined a financial site that I could label all my transactions and set myself like definitive monthly budgets for everything.
Right.
Because I spent too much money on games last year. So, okay, so the only other stuff I've been playing is mobile stuff. Fire Emblem Heroes I've been kind of in and out of. Like, it's funny because like 2 days ago when I was kind of updating my notes for the cast, I was like, I'm really kind of burnt out on this game. It hasn't given me any 5 stars for like a month. And then last night I pulled like 2 5-star characters. So
Oh, jeez.
that was... I should complain about it more often.
Yeah.
Because it knows. I like the... I think I mentioned it last time, but the game mode that was driving me crazy, which is Tempest, which is, you pick a difficulty level, and then you do X amount of missions, and you have to survive with just 1 or 2 teams or something like that.
Oh, right.
The prizes for those required so many points that it just sucked up too much time.
Yeah.
But now they've done this, get 3 times the experience for one of these runs twice a day, which makes it a lot easier to get that stuff. They've added just a ton to this game that some of it I'm really afraid to commit to. Like, they've added a new tier for most of the characters' weapons. But, when you go to level it up, they display, 4 or 5 different paths that weapon can take leveling up. And I'm pretty sure I can get all of them and just have one equipped, but I'm really worried about locking myself out of a path with one of them.
Right.
And then the other thing they added were these priestesses that can confer, blessings onto other characters, but those seem to be based around you having a certain item to do that with, and I only have one of those items, so I haven't blessed anyone with the character they gave me. But that game's still real neat. I think it's... all those phone games can suck up all of your time if you let them.
Yep.
And for me, it's finding a balance with them to where I'm not doing that. The Switch has helped me a lot with that, since I can just play my Switch while I catch up on TV or movies or whatever,
Yeah.
But, I definitely... there have been times where I've spent, 3 or 4 hours a day on Fire Emblem Heroes, or, the other one, the last one I'll talk about, which is Brave Exvius.
Yeah, the great time sink.
Yeah, I kind of burnt myself out after the cloud thing.
Yeah, that was a lot of gameplay.
Yeah, it was a lot of gameplay, and I went over the edge and spent $100.
You're among friends. It's okay.
Did not get cloud, which is another reason for this financial website budget thing, because I spent too much on phone games last year.
Right.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still not a whale by any stretch.
No, yeah. It's so funny. Whales are factors of 10 beyond that.
I'm not that guy on the Reddit who spent $15,000 on the game.
That was a sad story.
Yeah, when he said he spent $2,000 trying to get one specific pull, I was like, I
can't even
too
fathom.
easily I can't fathom stopping or not stopping, but at the same time I'm like, I've been there where I'm like, I should just spend $10 more and see what happens.
Just one more pull. Just 10 more bucks. Yeah.
And yeah, that was a real sad story. I hope that guy's life went the right direction. It sounded like he had a good moment, so hopefully he got the family support he needs to deal with this problem. But I shouldn't laugh at that. I'm laughing out of discomfort, not out of humor.
It's hitting too close to home.
I'm not a monster.
No.
Well, maybe in other ways, but I don't know. So they have this King's Night or whatever it's called story thing going over. I'm not familiar with that game at all.
I think it's one of their other games. They have a whole bunch of other games that they also run. The company Gumi, and I think this is one of their other ones. It's one of those events where I look at it and I try it out a little bit and I say, this is my break week. I could not care less about this.
Yeah.
I'll try and push as much as I can to get a 4-star guaranteed ticket. But if I don't, fine. If I do, I'll probably just pull another garbage unit again.
Yeah. I'd really like to get that little dinosaur guy, but...
Yeah, just because he's goofy looking.
Like, the weird thing I experienced, like, with these pulls, and especially with the cloud thing, where, like, when I got to... Like, because I knew the Final Fantasy VII stuff was coming, like, a month or so in advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had saved up, like, 20,000 Lapis and, like... 20 or 30 summon tickets. Like, I had a lot.
I was in the same boat.
And I pulled a lot of rainbows that weren't in that banner at all, which was kind of crazy to me, that, like, the rainbow pool is so big, you're more likely not to get one of the...
Yeah, that's sort of the benefit and downside of us joining this so late is, like, there are so many units in the game, and there's so many, rainbow 5-star units that most of them you're going to get are going to be good. They're probably not going to be the one you want, which is the on-banner one.
Yeah. That's just... but it was good for me to experience that, and that if they ever bring, like, the near banner back or something like that again,
right,
then I will realize, okay, I'll probably just get the 3 and 4-star units. And probably even if I do pull a 5-star, it probably won't be one of the main near ones. So
it's that sobering moment where it's like you have to not care about it, because that's when you start having the most fun. Because you're not gonna get Cloud unless you're either really lucky or you just keep feeding money into that machine.
Yeah, man, I got every single other unit and got basically all their. Wait, hold on. Am I getting my events confused? Because the Cloud one...
It was Cloud one wasn't... and a bunch of other losers.
Okay, no, it was the one before Cloud where I got all those units and all their Trust Masters. Because it was like a raid where you got that weird golem, black mage looking thing.
Yeah.
And like all his units, like, because it gave you a currency that you could do summons from, and you got so many of those other units, I really liked being able to get all the stuff from it.
And smush them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, that game's still great. I have too many 5-stars to try and build a team anymore. I'm so lost on what I should be doing on that end that I've just kind of stuck with the same team I have, which I think is pretty decent. Like, after Mina's advice on the arena, I've gotten to where I'm winning... pretty much all the time. And,
nice.
I haven't gotten in the top 30,000 or anything, but I'm always between that 30 and 60,000 mark or 70,000 bracket.
That's way more arena than I play.
It's you get like really good prizes from it.
Yeah,
and they have that item grid that you fill out that gets you a lot of arena tickets, and it gets you a lot of magicite.
And a bunch of good pots and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you complete that grid, you get a 5 or 10% like trust pot or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And just like if you do it 5 times a day, then just the participation awards is like 20 lapis, and I don't remember what the others are.
And some stuff.
Yeah. It was just like her advice, use magic, choose someone close to your rank or lower. And I've found I can, like, as long as I don't challenge someone that's over like rank 100, I can usually beat them.
Oh, nice.
Her advice on using Ash I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
And her saying that you kind of fight with debuffs and status effects, you know. Mm-hmm. So my first onslaught is always I got this one guy who has a stop all spell, so I'm going to try that, and I usually nab one or two of the characters. It's outlawed this week, but you know, on other weeks. I don't know. I won't list them all out, but I still really like that game. Part of me wishes it was more of a normal game and a less, you know, random draw game. But
right.
I don't know. There's a ton of content in there. So that is all the RPG stuff I have played this last
All
week.
right. I managed to play 2 RPGs and 2 visual novels. So let's start with visual novels. I started and finished the first Danganronpa, which I have to give huge props to Mina for helping me figure out the correct order to play this stuff in, because there's 4 or 5 games and 2 anime series out. And I have to also thank her for my initial... When you fire it up, you get some difficulty options, which kind of don't matter in the first one. And then you get the option, the big question, which is Japanese or English. And I was sort of like, I don't know. So I played through the first little bit in both of them. Really didn't like the English voice, and the Japanese voice was fine. So I decided to hit her up on Twitter, and I said, well, which one should I play? Because she's now on the most recent one. And she actually recommended the English one, which she said because of the strength of the voice acting in the second one. And man, she was totally right. I have to give her a lot of props, because the English voice acting for both the first one and I'm on the second one so far have been, except for the main character in both of them, are really, really, really good. So I gotta give props to her. Thank you. Real quick programming note. Thank you to Howie and Wesley Boy on Mixer for hosting us. So I spent I think 25 to 30 hours on the first one, and I'm really angry that I didn't play this earlier. It's incredible, and I think what drew me in originally. And I don't know why I didn't finish playing this when I first started playing it, but Danganronpa is a combination between Battle Royale, the old movie / book, where basically you and there's 15 students are trapped in this school, and the villain, Monokuma, which is a black and white bear, which is a really great name, he traps you in here, says the only way you can escape is by killing each other. And if someone kills someone else and they don't get caught, they get freed. But if they do get caught, then they get punished, killed, and everybody else survives. And then combine that with the class trial system, which is Phoenix Wright. So you have this killing game, Battle Royale, plus Phoenix Wright. And it's really good. It's a really well-told story. The translation and the voice acting are great. It's really fun to explore this school, and it's really fun trying to figure out someone inevitably every couple of days will show up dead in some sort of horrific murder. And it's really interesting to go investigate and gather all this stuff. And then what's really great about the game is it's not like Phoenix Wright, where a lot of times in Phoenix Wright you sort of put the whole crime together before you go to trial, and a lot of it is just sort of poking holes in the other person's case. But what's great in Danganronpa is you usually run out of time in a story sense before you have to go to the class trial. So a lot of it is sort of putting it together as you're going through the trial. And what I didn't realize, and I had to write down notes to make sure I got all of it, is it's so different from what I'm used to with some of these other games that there are like 3 or 4 systems during the class trial. The first one is you debate with all the rest of the students that are still alive, and it's pretty rapid fire. So it's sort of like, well, this person's going to throw out a theory, and this person's going to debunk it, and this other person's going to talk about something else. And your task is to take these hilariously named truth bullets, which is basically a fact about the case, and use it to shoot a lie in somebody's statement. And you're basically poking holes and saying, well, you said this, but even if they're not the killer, you can say, well, this wouldn't have been possible because of this other thing. So that doesn't explain the murder, but maybe this piece of evidence does. So you get to sort of poke holes in that, which is really great. And then you sort of go back and forth on that, and you're presenting evidence, and you're shooting these criticisms and lies down. And then whenever you run into somebody that's being particularly stubborn, and they won't listen to facts and won't listen to you, you play a rhythm game to shoot down their arguments and like bust through their hard-headedness. So some cases you can do that up to 2 or 3 times, which is crazy. And then to cap off every case, basically whenever you accuse the killer and you get all the evidence together and like you have the full story put together, the game presents you with a comic book and a whole bunch of options of what could have happened, and you're basically dragging these comic book panels into these empty panels in this book, putting the whole crime together and like proving this is the only person that could have done the crime this way because of here's the whole comic book and here's the whole story. And
that sounds really freaking cool.
It's really, really cool. And so far, I've played the whole first one, which is really great. And I'm on the second case of the second one. And most of the stuff they've carried over into the second one, except they've added a couple new things, which is fine, but maybe a little bit too complex. But I'm actually playing the PS4 version of the Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload, which so far has been really good. So far, I can't recommend these enough. Thanks to Mina, she recommended to me the order of operation, or the order that I'm going to play stuff in, which is you play 1, then you play 2, then you watch Danganronpa 3, the anime, which sort of wraps up the 1 and 2 storyline, and then you go play Danganronpa V3, which apparently starts a whole new storyline. So I really like these. And everyone, especially Mina, who's been trying to tell me, yo, you should go play these, they're really good. You guys were right. They're really good. And so far, I can wholeheartedly recommend the first one. And I think I bought the 1 and 2 Reload collection for PS4 when it was like $30. I think it's hanging out at around $40 now, which is pretty good for 2 games that are 25 to 35 hours a pop.
Yeah.
I just need the third one to go on sale so I can buy that. But
is there any data carryover between these games that would...
It doesn't seem like it so far, but I didn't do a lot of the extra stuff in the first game that unlocks after you finish the main game. There's something called like school mode or school life mode, where I think it lets you explore the school and make friends with all the other classmates without there really being a timeline or a time frame being put upon you. But I didn't really play that, so I'm not sure if there's like, if you clear this, then you get extra stuff in the second one or not. But
gotcha.
Yeah, so far really good, really, really, really good stuff. Hopefully I'll have at least 2 done by the time we talk next month, and then Mina and I can talk about how good the first 2 are. Or if I'm moving really fast, maybe I'll get all 3 done. Destiny 2? Last month we didn't talk about the first expansion, Curse of Osiris. I'm not really sure how much I want to talk about Destiny 2, because it's really not great. It's real not good. Just in general. Curse of Osiris was about 3 to 4 hours for the story mode. And I wasn't even really pushing through that very quickly. One of the big bummers of this is the Infinite Forest. On paper, it seems a lot like the Rifts from Diablo 3, where it's sort of this randomized dungeon you go into. The unfortunate part is it's not really that randomized, and part of the story has you going through it 3 or 4 times throughout a 4-hour story. And probably the most disappointing part is you can't just go in there. You know, I was expecting it to be like Diablo 3 Rifts, where you have a key and you go in there and you can kind of just run a dungeon. You can only go in there if you have a story or side quest reason to go in there.
Ugh.
Which seems like just a huge missed opportunity. It'd be great if they had scoring like they had in Dungeons in Destiny 1, and you could just go in there with your friends and sort of, you know, cooperatively compete, and then... I don't know, Destiny 2 is in a real bad point, and I feel like it's not really... it doesn't behoove me or this show to talk about it too much, because I feel like even if you're not playing Destiny 2 and you're paying attention to video games in general, you have probably seen people complain about it. Especially after this Dawning event, which is their big Christmas event, which has been really good in years past, and was really, really bad this year. In the way that just... It really pushed forward the look of like naked greed in Bungie's eyes that is becoming really hard to defend against. And it's a real bummer. I wish Destiny 2 was a lot better. I can still wholeheartedly recommend Destiny 1. I said that on, I think it was either this show or TVGP before we went on our holiday break. And somebody hit me up on Twitter and says, look, I bought the complete Destiny 1 collection for £5, and it's really great, and there's a lot of Destiny content there. And I said, well, first off, £5 is a really great price for a lot of game, and Destiny 1 is still really good. And there's still a lot of people playing that. So, go play Destiny 1. That game ended up being really good at the end. And last but not least, I started the Chrono Trigger Holiday Challenge. This is run by Eric K., who runs the Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta. He suddenly updated the Twitter bot and said, yo, do you want to play a Chrono Trigger challenge? And a lot of people said, yes, I would. So basically all the Twitter bot gives you is a 3-person Chrono Trigger team, and once you get them, you just have to finish the game with them. Which is kind of fun. The team I got is Marl or Marley. I never know. I just call her Marl. It's probably Marley, but I don't know.
I don't know either. Now that you've said that aloud, I have never thought about it, and I think in my head I always called her Marley, but...
I wrote it down for the show, and I was like, you know, I don't know how to pronounce that. I've never heard another human pronounce her name. Princess Nadia, either way.
Yeah, there you go.
Her, Robo, and Isla, which is, I'm fairly sure, the last group I would have ever chosen for myself. I just got to the future, so I'm about to scoop up Robo pretty quickly. Number 1, Chrono Trigger is still really good. It's one of my favorite RPGs / games of all time. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably followed the saga of Where's My DS? Oh, I found it. Wait, it has 999 in it and not Chrono Trigger? Okay, where's Chrono Trigger? I did not I found my Super NES boxed copy, but I did not find my DS version of Chrono Trigger.
Oh, man.
So I bought the iOS version because it was on sale. That's a pretty good version of Chrono Trigger. Graphics are the same. They didn't do something like, Final Fantasy V, where they smoothed the whole thing over and made it look interesting. They changed the text boxes so it's a little bit more readable on iOS. It has on-screen joystick wherever you tap, which is fine. It makes some battles a little bit harder. The dragon tank at the beginning is a little hard to fight because when you select it, it selects the body, and you need to kill the head first, so you're always sort of tapping and then swiping. So far, everything seems intact except for Frog's translation. They retranslated him, so it's not all like these and thous anymore. It just sort of, he speaks very properly, which is probably more accurate, but it's not nearly as fun as this like stuffy frog knight that you had with you before. Yeah. So it's sort of making me miss the DS one still had that translation. I just looked it up here on Amazon. See how much the DS version costs. $40. So can't just scoop that up for cheap.
They occasionally keep reprinting those, and they always release them at $40 new. But
yeah, the Square Enix store is the place that's best to get that stuff. You can still pick up new copies of like Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the PS1.
Oh wow.
They just have like, we printed a bunch of them. Here they are, $20. You can still pick up like Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross on the PS1. Like really, it's very strange, but Chrono Trigger is still really good, and it's an experience. I have such a hard time playing these games when I don't have direct control over them because I'm so used to navigating these menus and picking stuff so quickly that when I have to play with an on-screen joystick, it's a little weird, but thankfully it's not one of those things. I find Final Fantasy V largely unplayable because of the on-screen joystick, but there's something about Chrono Trigger that hasn't really caused that for me.
So when does this challenge end?
March?
Oh, wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, where is it? Final Fantasy V 4 Job Fiesta. It doesn't have a lot of promotion around it, mostly because I think this is the first year he's just sort of trying it. I can't find the Twitter account right now. But yeah, if I remember correctly, when I looked at the Twitter account, it goes until like the end of March, I think it is. So there's a ton of time, because Forge Out Fiesta runs for 4 months, I believe. It's something like April to August. So, which is nice, because Chrono Trigger is only like 20-25 hours long, but I can only play like 15-20 minutes at a time.
Okay, so Gilgabot is posting about this then. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing too many games at once, but at the same time, I always want an excuse to go play Chrono Trigger.
Well, and for me, when I saw the challenge, it's like, I don't know if I want to play the challenge. Like, I don't know if I have the time. And then I thought, I really don't remember the last time I played Chrono Trigger, which means it's been too long. So I should at least play Chrono Trigger. And it's not like Final Fantasy V, where I don't have a great party for the holiday challenge, but you can over-level pretty easily in Chrono Trigger, so even if I have to brute force it, it's not going to be impossible. So it's not going to be one of those things where it's like, great, 80 hours later I finished Chrono Trigger, yeehaw.
Yeah.
So it should be pretty fun. And Chrono Trigger's just still really good. Ah, man. That music, like they kept the music right. Go play Chrono Trigger. Yeah, go look at Gilgabot. I think it's like FF5 for Futures is the Twitter account.
Yeah.
I think you just do #register or #CTHC, something like that. You'll see, if you look at the account, you'll see everyone else tweeting their register hashtags. But yeah, go play Chrono Trigger. It's really good. And the iOS version is fine. especially for $10. It's okay.
You might have said it. Did it have the anime cutscenes in it?
No, actually it didn't. I guess that makes sense because it's probably file size is important, but
yeah,
the anime cutscenes were in the PS1 and the DS version.
Yeah,
I always thought they were fine, but never really. Like the one that always sticks in my mind is when Frog splits that mountain in half. It's weird because like he gets up to the mountain and he like lifts his sword, and then the anime cutscene plays, and then once that's done, the in-game cutscene plays where he slices it. Sort of like, do I need to see it twice? Could you just like cut out that anime cutscene? But I don't know. Chrono Trigger is a weird thing. But that's all the games I've been playing. Do you want to take a quick break, or do you want to just wrap up the quick thing we have here at the end?
No, we can just wrap up.
Okay, let's talk about RPG releases for January 2018. Lost Sphere comes out on the 23rd for PC, Switch, and PS4. This is the second game from the team that made... the snowy piano game. The one that I just forgot.
Snowy piano game. Is it one of the Wii U or Wii RPGs that got ported over?
No.
The big social movement for?
No, it was that. let me Google JRPG Snowy Piano. I Am Setsuna. Ha! It was the third. It was the third result. This is the second game from the I Am Setsuna Snowy Piano team. I know there was a demo out for this. I think on the Switch, and maybe PS4. I didn't try it, but people seemed to be sort of lukewarm on it. I know they were sort of lukewarm on I Am Setsuna as well, but it seems like it's one of those JRPGs where it's like, it's good, it's fine. 7 out of 10. Well,
I just realized I Am Setsuna is out for Switch, so I will eventually get it there.
There we go.
It is $40 right now still, though, for some reason, so I'll wait for a sale.
That's weird. Yeah, wait for an eShop sale. Monster Hunter World is coming out on PS4 and Xbox One on the 26th. They also announced the PC version is coming out in fall, which is way far away, but it sounds like they are taking a ton of time to optimize that for PC, which is probably a good thing. I know Mina is really excited about it, and my co-host on TVGP, Moonpeer, is also very pumped. I am doing my best to not look at this because I know they're making a more accessible Monster Hunter, and I feel like that will be the end of me playing anything else.
The whole TVGP Discord, there was a string of 20 or 30 tweets of people talking about what platform they're getting it for and this and that, and it sounds like Xbox One might have won out there, but
yeah, I think so.
I know someone tagged me and someone else saying we might get it for PS4, but I'm so bad about playing games with other people, and I know I've at least played Warframe with Mina a couple times, so in my mind I'm probably going to go PC if I play this game, which is a big if, because I've never played a Monster Hunter before, and I'm pretty bitter about online games because of their never-ending carrot-on-the-stick nature and how job-like they eventually become at some point. So I'm wary of joining another one.
Yeah, I feel like for your first point, I feel like that's one of the things they're really focusing on with World is if you haven't played a Monster Hunter before, we're making the ramp into, the on-ramp into the game way easier instead of, here's the game, go crazy, paintballs, multiple maps. It's just wait, what? It seems a lot less like you have to have a crew and a wiki next to you, or you need someone like Mina who's played half of the other games, or it's all right, let's get you into Monster Hunter. Seems like you need a lot less of that, which is really, really good. Fingers crossed, at least. And last but not least, Dissidia Final Fantasy NT comes out on the 30th for PS4, which I think is the only platform it's coming out on right now. It might get a PC release later. I'm watching this one really closely because I really liked the first two games on PSP. And I hope this game is as good, but I gotta wait for reviews on this one, because it's been a real long time, and a lot of the footage they've shown has been fine, but the thing I liked about the first two games was this sort of like almost like X-Men What If series, where it's sort of like, what if Terra was fighting the bad guy from Final Fantasy 1? And like they have a storyline around all of that. That stuff was really good, but I don't know how much of that is going to be on the home release of this. But
well, and I never played the original Dissidia a whole lot. Like, I have it, and I know I put a few hours into it, and I'm like, oh, that's a neat, weird button mashy thing, and then never messed with it too much again. And I'm intrigued, and I think, like, I mean, this is just a remake of the original games, right? With new characters?
It's a brand new one. This is actually, they put out in arcades in Japan for a while.
That, man. So, like, I can't remember if it's through Amazon or Square Enix's website, but one of them, if you pre-order, you get, registered in one of those contests you'll never win. But
yeah, to win that arcade machine.
Yeah, man, that thing looks sweet.
Yeah, I'd be crazy to have a Dissidia arcade machine in my garage.
Yeah, I have no idea where it would go in my house, but it'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on this one, because I think this could be really cool, and it looks so good. But there has to be some sort of storyline trapping around it, because if it's just like a one-on-one battler, that's probably not going to be for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I have it on pre-order right now, but I don't, like, I pre-order everything when it initially comes out, because it doesn't cost me anything on Amazon.
Exactly, yeah.
So I hope we get some inkling of what this game is before it comes, like, with enough time for me to cancel if I change my mind on it.
Yeah, if only you could tell Amazon, like, wait until the reviews are, like, give me, like, 2 weeks. Just, then send me an email, see, like, yeah, you still want this? No, yes, no.
Yeah.
Our only news story this week, and we don't have any tweets or emails, so this is really the end of the show, is Atlus has surprisingly announced a remake of Catherine. Titled Catherine Full Body, will be coming out on PS4 and, strangely, the Vita, which I was sure was not going to be a thing that happened. Basically, they're taking the original Catherine, they're adding another Catherine, so you'll have Catherine with C, Catherine with K, and Rin. They're adding more storyline stuff. They're adding a whole different storyline path. Everyone's sort of assuming it's the neutral path. A bunch of new endings, and they're putting the block pushing versus thing online, which is really good because the professional Catherine speedrunning community is pretty pumped about that. Which, if anyone hasn't watched competitive Catherine, it's really good. It's actually really good. So it's scheduled for release winter of this year in Japan. So who the hell knows when we're going to get 2020 at this point? But I'm excited for this because I really liked Catherine, and I'm hoping that this means that more people will get to play it. And I think they're also putting a much easy mode in there for people that had trouble with the block pushing stuff in the story mode, which is also nice because that went some weird places, difficulty wise. But Catherine's really fun. Definitely
the craziest news item. Yeah, bringing back this controversial, eclectic, like, Atlus game that they probably built the Persona 5 engine out of.
Yep. And adding a new controversial character on top of it.
Yeah.
Catherine is real good, even though it had a lot of problems, especially storyline-wise. It was a really cool, different thing.
We did a spoiler cast on that, didn't we?
Oh, boy, probably.
It was like me, you, and...
I bet.
Was it Soul Man?
Oh, boy,
It was someone who isn't normally on a podcast. I remember that. Man, that was Because I remember...
Well, we did. 2011. September 20th, 2011. It was, you and me and Soul Man. Wow, good memory.
I can't believe we've done this podcast for so long. I still feel like we started this, like you started PUP like 2 years ago.
2017, yeah. Catherine was a cool thing that, just like Persona 5, has a lot of problems in how it addresses trans and gay characters. Sadly, will probably not fix those issues, but the rest of the game is really good.
Yeah, from what I remember, is you want to go for the bad ending because it's the most entertaining one.
Yeah. I'm excited that they're going to add new endings, because I think the first one had like 6 or 8 endings. I got all but one of them, and they were a trip.
I think I got like 2 or 3 of them, and then I watched the rest on YouTube.
Yeah. Because you have to play through the whole thing to get each ending.
Yeah, but I don't think the game's that long, is it? It's just like 6 or 8 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
something like that. Yeah, but I mean, after a while, I was doing the same block pushing puzzle, got a little tired, and here's this thing about this whiskey. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
But that's all of our news stories, and that's actually our episode for this month. Thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. All the ways to contact us are on the right-hand side of the page. Visit the brand-new revamped e1m1.com for all the other information on the other shows on the E1M1 network. Musum, where can we find you?
You can buy my music at musum.bandcamp.com and iTunes, and also find it on Spotify, and listen to my other podcast, thecarouselpodcast.com.
And since Mina's not here, I will plug for her YouTube. You can find her on Minako Rocket, Minako Rocket, and it's the same username on Twitter. And as I said, you can find my other shows, e1m1.com. Thank you so much for listening. Our adventure continues next month.